What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Too Much Tech. And in today's video, we're going to be checking out the Pulsar Gaming Gears PCMK. This is their new 10 keyless, and they'll also be making a 60% version, but this is a 5-pin hot swap mechanical keyboard, clip-in stabs. There is some sound dampening foam between the plate and the PCB, and the bottom of the keyboard is translucent as well, which is actually pretty interesting. And it's kind of hollow sounding, but not in like a horrible way, but it does sound a little hollow. I do think that this keyboard does have potential, and once we talk about some of the accessories and what you can do with this board from Pulsar, I think you guys will see why I think this is a pretty good option, and honestly a much better alternative to something like a glorious GMMK. The regular GMMK, not the GMMK Pro, that's like a totally different thing. This is aimed squarely at the entry-level keyboard buyer, I guess I should say. I'm not even gonna say like you're looking for, you know, a crazy custom keyboard or anything like that. Like, this is a really solid entry-level option at a few different price ranges. So if you know that you're more of a tweaker, you want to modify this thing like crazy, you want to swap out the stabilizers even though you don't really need to, then you go with the bare bones kit. It's 69 bucks. You get all this stuff. You got onboard controls for the RGB and whatnot, and you also have this USB Type-C port at the top left. It is centered a little bit, but it is still over to the left. And I think for $69 is a really good competitor to the GMMK, especially by having better stock stabilizers and also that dampening foam between the plate and PCB. But this is a plastic build instead of aluminum build, so there is something to keep in mind as well, even though I don't think the aluminum on the regular GMMK is that great anyways. But at least the PCB on this thing looks really cool as well, and you also have these flip out feet as well as these rubberized feet as well, so it's not going to really be sliding around your mouse pad or anything, and all of the different typing angles are pretty comfortable. One thing that I do want to mention that Pulsar is doing that is pretty unique, and I hope that they do offer this as an accessory, is the fact that they have these low profile cherry style keycaps that are made from double shot PBT. If you guys have been around for a while and you've seen my review of the Fanatic Streak 65, that was my biggest complaint with that keyboard, is the fact that the low profile cherry style keycaps that they had were not PBT, and it's supposed to be a gaming board. Like, dude, I don't want ABS painted keycaps or whatever they were. They were like really cheap feeling keycaps, and like they collected all your hand oils. But PBT material fixes that issue, and it feels a lot better, and it even sounds a little bit better too, in my opinion. Like, these keycaps are so much better than the ones on the Streak 65. It's absolutely insane, and I hope that Pulsar is selling these keycaps on their own. One of the biggest things about this keyboard is going to make it really important, especially from a price standpoint, is it's going to have some customization options available directly from Pulsar. We're going to have a variety of different switches that you can choose from, and they do have two different colors as well. They have a white and a black color. This is the black color, obviously. This is not like a final production run, so obviously like my shortcuts on my keycaps aren't all printed, which is fine by me because they sent it to me a little bit early to try out. The switches that I have in this board are the Gateron white switches. They're linear. I want to say they're like 35 gram springs as well, and they're like super light, and I think that it makes the board sound pretty decent, but it's nothing that's like spectacular or anything. So I'll let you guys hear a quick sound test of these Gateron white switches. Then I'll also have a few different mystery switches that I'll let you guys hear a quick sound test of as well. Not to make this video too long, because there's not really much more that I have to say. Like, it's really just a feature-packed keyboard for a pretty low price, and I'm thinking in my head that when Pulsar drops this. I could be wrong, because by the time this review is out, it's probably gonna be already available for sale. But this is me just taking a guess. So I think this keyboard, after you customize and everything, add your switches and whatnot, depending on like what switches you get and how much they cost and whatnot, I think it's gonna be around, let's say 110 to like 130 bucks. Let's see if I'm right, but 110 to 130 bucks, fully decked out with keycaps and everything. That I think is a pretty fair deal, because around that same price is the glorious GMMK, which does have that aluminum build. I feel like this one feels a little bit better, especially since you don't have to modify the stabilizers at all, because the glorious stabs, to be honest, are not good at all. So with this board having that unique dampening foam in the space bar and also in between the plate and PCB, depending on your switch will determine how much hollowness you experience with the case. This could be a really great option regardless if it's fully built out or if it's bare bones. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is this something that you would consider? And if you wouldn't consider this, what would you consider to be a keyboard upgrade for you, or even just like a beginner custom keyboard? Well, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoy, feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new to the channel as well. One last thing I do want to mention to you guys, this mouse pad that this board has been on is the Pulsar Control. This is like their like hybrid style mouse pad, but the weave is a lot softer than something like an Odin Infinity or like an Artisan. Like I have a Hayate Otsu, and this feels like a smoother weave than that, and it's just a lot more comfortable to like rub your skin on. It's not as fast as some of those other pads. So if you're looking for like the fastest thing and you want to, you want your mouse to be Sonic the Hedgehog on a freaking mouse pad, then maybe this isn't for you. But this has a good amount of control and a decent amount of speed. I would say that it's a little bit faster than like your average cloth pad, but as you guys can see, it's now available in this red color and in a 2XL size. So yeah, it looks really cool. I finally have a red desk pad that isn't the Bruh mat, which I also have. But yeah, this thing is pretty nice. I like it quite a bit, and I'm not upset that they sent this over, because this red pad looks really cool. But again, thank you guys for watching. Like and sub. I'll see you in the next video.